Welcome back. We're recording on a beautiful hot summer's evening here in Hong Kong, and Sammy's asleep soundly, hopefully. And we've been talking about peace and how to find peace in the storm. And yesterday we said that when Jesus rebuked the disciples, when the storm came, he rebuked them not because they didn't have faith to calm the storm, but he rebuked them because they didn't have faith in the fact that he cared for them. And so how to find peace in the middle of the storm is to understand that God cares for you, he loves you, and that's what calms an internal storm, not an external storm.
Yeah. What got me about that story is that the disciples are with Jesus 24/7 basically. Jesus is training them, and when the storm came, they had no idea what to do. They actually freaked out. And a lot of people say, just get more of Jesus and you'll be fine. And it's a great statement, but in reality, I think it's more about understanding his truth and then applying it to your life. And so storms come and go. It's a part of life, and you can't there's some storms you cannot stop. You know, you think of the virus at the moment. That's a huge storm that's hit the whole world, and terrible things are happening. And I don't think there's a person on this planet that can just click their fingers and end that. But what we can do is how we respond to it. And I think a lot of people initially want to go into fear and freak out. You know, people are losing their jobs, people are dying, and it's a terrible situation. Us personally, Sean's businesses took a huge hit. I think it was like 80%.
Some of them, yeah.
Some of them completely at standstill at the moment, right?
Yeah.
And you know, when I looked at Sean through that time, he was completely calm, and people around him were freaking out. I personally was a little bit worried because there's bills to pay, there's employees to pay, there's
responsibility.
rent, and you know, what are you going to do in that time? But Sean had such a peace inside, and he just knew that everything was going to be okay. I don't even think you had the solution or the strategy.
No.
But you just knew that this is an opportunity, and that you came to the point where maybe close some businesses down or change the way you do business, and you ended up going online, and you know, there were other different things that happened. But the way Sean responded to it is what made available what could happen. Whereas if you were in fear and doubtful, then maybe you wouldn't have seen the opportunities that were made available. And I think even for me personally, when storms have come to me, often I want to just run away from it or blame someone else, you know, or not face it. And then the storm just gets worse. But the times where I've embraced it, because you know the scripture of when you walk through the valley of what is it?
The valley of the shadow of death.
Yes, I fear no evil. But what's great about that is as I walk through it, so it's talking about facing it and walking through it. And I think in this time, it's about how we face the storm. Are we going to walk through it? Are we going to embrace it? Are we going to learn from it? Are we going to mature? Are we going to take the opportunity and push forward? Because I think so often we experience something terrible, and then we just shrink back and we give up, and then we've just missed a huge opportunity. But I feel like God is saying, don't shrink back, actually move forward. Look at what I'm doing. Don't look at what man is saying. Look what I'm saying, because I'm saying good things. I've got good things for you. and don't look at what the devil's doing or what other things are happening, but embrace it. And there's bigness coming, don't you think?
So what you're saying is, in the middle of the storm, don't get focused on the wrong thing. Make sure you stay on track with what God's doing. And when you understand that he cares for you, you don't have to default into fighting. You don't have to default into defending. You don't have to default into negativity that bring bad results, that bring secondary storms that are worse than the first storm. That you can focus on the good things that God can do even in the midst of the storm.
Because I think a lot of people right now are feeling hopeless. And what I'm trying to encourage is there is hope, and that you can press through, and that there is good coming.
Yeah.
That you can make the most out of a bad situation.
Yeah. Well, something that God said to us just before the virus hit was, is it possible to live without fear? And we didn't know that there was pandemics coming and issues and potential jobs and businesses and churches and all sorts closing down. But I felt God really challenged us. Is it possible to live without fear? Could you live with no money in your bank account? Could you live with no relationship? Could you live being dropped into the middle of a desert and learn how to call forth water? And I think that idea of hope, that no matter who's against you, no matter what valley you're walking through, that God has got your back. He's for you. He's favored you, so that even if you need to call water forth from the rock, you can do that.
Yeah.
The issue came when Moses tried to strike the rock when God told him to speak to the rock.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Christians fall into a trap where they try and operate by religion rather than relationship, and they start to operate by a formula when the storm comes.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you've got to speak to the storm to shut it up in order to bring peace. But sometimes you need to sail through the storm. And like Paul in Acts, sometimes the storm is going to sink your boat, and you need to learn how to operate in the sinking. And don't restrict God to operating by he did on the last occasion.
Yeah.
And so you can have an internal peace no matter what happens externally. And that's the peace that surpasses understanding. If you have a peace that comes because the storm stops, that doesn't surpass understanding. You understand why you have peace in that situation. But when you have peace that goes beyond what's happening around you, that's a God type of peace.
Yeah.
And so for this particular time that our people are in, this is an opportunity for every single one of us to go deeper in relationship, not into religion, not into the formula, not into the guru praying for you, or the strategy that the fancy leader gives you. It's about going deeper into relationship, and God will then give you the way forward from a place of peace.
Yeah.
And that peace will overcome any power that's coming against you. And so sometimes God's calling you into a place of pleasure in the prison.
Yeah. That's good.
And when you're in that place of pleasure, then he'll open prison doors, and you won't even run away from the prison. You won't even try and get out of the situation, because God's calling blessing and favor in the middle of that situation.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for people not to try and have a hippie mindset or a cheap idea of Christianity where you can just walk through life easily because it's just you and Jesus. No, actually, he's going to call you into difficult places, but he's going to change those places through you.
And he's giving you the ability to handle those
in his peace.
situations. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So peace isn't about just being comfortable in the situation. It's about being comfortable in the care that he has for you, and then he changes the situation, or sometimes doesn't change the situation from that place. But you don't care about the situation, you care about his care for you.
And sometimes he will change you in the situation.
That's right.
Because we're looking for him to change, or for him to change the situation, but sometimes he's looking for you to change.
That's right.
And I think that's the greatest victory, because then you can then apply it to the next thing. You grow up, you mature up.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Fantastic, Bunny.
Thanks, Sean.
Tune in next time.
Bye. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome back to Sean and Bonnie's Daily Encouragement. We're sitting in our garden outside. It's the evening, and it's super quiet. You can probably hear the cockroaches and the snakes in the background. You're just so quiet. Okay. All right.
You just got to be confident. And they're called crickets, not cockroaches.
Well, I was just trying to be funny. It doesn't mean cockroach. Okay. Be nice.
Well, just be natural.
Okay, look at the camera. Ready? Okay. All right. Oh no. Okay. Wait. Got it. Okay. And you can probably hear not the cockroaches, the crickets chirping in the background. Welcome back.
No, not welcome back. We're back.
Okay. Okay. All right. No, it's not gonna work. Can I talk about this when we're recording? Okay. Welcome back. This is
No, not welcome back. We're back.
All right. People have to do 50 takes.
You don't have to do 50 takes. Just say, hey, we're back.
Okay. Hey. All right, let's go. Okay. Okay. Oh no. We're back. Okay, ready? Okay, no. We're back. Hi.
Oh no. This is ridiculous.
Hi guys. No. All right. No. I'm sorry. I've lost the plot. I've lost the plot.